So, Erik, we had your presentation this morning. It was pretty interesting. Please tell me about your. One thing that I thought was interesting was you talked about a user-centric vision that the tele industry needs to adopt. Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
We were brought up and born as an industry to serve customers. You know, they connected to our network, they bought mobile phones, and we became a customer-centric operations. I mean, we looked at customers, they came into our shops, they ordered our stuff, they used our stuff. Over the couple of past years, it's clear that the over-the-top players, the Apples of this world, the owners of the handsets, the owners of the iPads, you know, they made the whole value chain blurred. It's actually not blurred. I mean, for the users, it's still the same. They use a device to get access to the things they really want. Now, if you think that through, we as an industry became a kind of a operation to serve customers and serve individual customers and large customers. We called it business market, we called it consumer market. Now, if you look into the future, ultimately nobody buys an operator for the sake of an operator. People buy our products and services because they use them. It's exactly like Apple. It's exactly like a company like Qualcomm. It's exactly like a company like Microsoft. They are user-centric. We need to be very much aware of why do people use our services? When, why, how, and the user-centricness will help us to really understand why people buy our products and then to be much more relevant for them in the future than we are today.
As well as being relevant, we need to offer customers something they really want, which is what the OTT players have been so good at. You talked about the need for the telecoms industry to try and innovate in the same way as Silicon Valley. Do you think the telecoms industry can really do that? Can it really compete?
Yes, we can compete, but can we be as innovative as the Silicon Valley army and businesses? I mean, Silicon Valley became an industry to produce innovation. I mean, the whole infrastructure, the whole society there is built to create innovation and bring innovation from idea to startup to success and launch. I mean, there's a whole world there. I mean, we do not have the same infrastructure as an operator. So we can hardly say we can easily compete with that world. What we can do is to allow young entrepreneurs, entrepreneurial companies to get way more easy access at our infrastructure so that they can innovate on our network and therefore be far closer to us than they are today. So instead of innovating ourselves, let's partner with the small and medium-sized companies that innovate in order to bring better services to, and then again the word comes, users. Because most often they understand way better what our users want than we.
Another thing that the telecoms industry is kind of drawing from the computer technology space is virtualization.
Yes.
What impact do you think that NFV, Network Functions Virtualization, is going to have on the telecoms industry over the next few years? And will that allow it to give it the edge to give it the flexibility it needs?
This question is, of course, as old as the industry is. I mean, actually, we brought voice into the cloud. I mean, the whole industry, the telecom industry, is a cloud virtualized service industry. I mean, this is the essence of what we are. Instead of people talking voice one-on-one, we brought it into the cloud and we could make it different. I mean, different from place and time. When you look at an operator like B2D, I mean, I think it is very clear that most of the operations that we see today in an operator ultimately can be virtualized. Most of the functions we do, most of the processes we do, ultimately there's no reason not to put them into the cloud. Whether it's a private cloud or a public cloud, we can then discuss. The question is, and there was a very good remark of the lady of Kissen of Deutsche Telekom, who said, I mean, if you virtualize crap, it remains crap. So I think lots to be done, but when you then go into a process of virtualization, you need to also clean up. And there is many things of the past that we should know. And we made the statement of telephone numbers. There's no reason for us as an industry in 10 years to still have telephone numbers. It's the largest living administrative thing that we have on Earth. We can virtualize that very easily. But then we need to first make sure that we get rid of this crap, of this past.
So things such as virtualization are happening at the core of the network. At the access part and the consumer customer facing, there's lots of exciting things happening. Or are they exciting? There's things happening such as VoLTE and other technologies such as LTE Direct. What do you think of those two technologies in particular? And do you think there is some excitement left in LTE for the customer?
Oh yes, I think we've just begun on LTE. I mean, LTE means you get broadband access anywhere you are. It's a very clear thing that in like 5, 10, 15 years, everything we do will be data. So there's not going to be analog networks, there's not going to be a voice channel anymore. We're going to have data-based services, including voice. I think that we have just parted on the area of digitization. I mean, the whole thing that we talk about is digitization of analog things. And we've just started on this. I mean, we're going to see this change in the next 10, 15 years completely businesses. I mean, you're going to see digital money. Why would we pay with coins and money in 10 years? Digital money, nobody is going to carry retail groceries anymore to his home. You know, there's many of these value chains are going to be completely digitized in the future. And that's where it's going to be.
And we're still talking about monetization and the fact that in Europe there's an overall decline in revenue. Do you think that this future vision that we have for the industry, which is at the moment is referred to as 5G, will it give an opportunity to reboot that for the telecoms industry in terms of revenue and monetization?
Well, I repeat again, I'm sure that there is value. Whether operators will be able to attract that value depends on whether they are fast enough to change and get this user-centric thing in their genes. Thank you very much.
Thank you.